Hi, this is Jeannie from Trendy Tree, and today I'm going to show you how to make a poinsettia wreath. All the supplies came from Trendy Tree, and we'll have a limited number of kits. But now, after the kits have sold out, we'll continue to leave the instructions up because you can always pick out different styles of mesh. And you can make this as a spring, summer flower, or anything like that. And we have lots of different styles of mesh, so you can pick out the color of your choice. What I'm going to use today is a type of fabric mesh. It's made out of polypropylene, but it also has a polyester thread. It's called a faux burlap. And anytime you have mesh that has an additive like a polyester thread, then you get a different texture and better coverage to the mesh. The red is RY831224. It's 10 inches in width and 10 yards in length. And then I have an emerald green. Now, of course, you can use moss green, lime green, other styles of green. But this one is RY831206, and it also is a faux burlap, and it says 10.5 inches. This one actually says 10.5 inches too, but that's okay. All right, I have two wreaths picked out. This is a stacked wreath method, and you can see there are different shades of green. That's okay. I picked these out because these were plentiful in stock, so it's not really going to matter. But the lime green, this is either lime green or fresh green, and it is XX750437. It's a 24-inch wreath. Now, our 24-inch wreaths measure 15 inches across the widest ring. But with the addition of mesh, ribbons, and so forth, you get a wreath that measures about 24 inches or greater. And then I have a 10-inch wreath. And this wreath actually measures 10 inches across. If you just use this wreath by itself, you would wind up with a wreath that measures about 20 inches or greater. That number is XX167855. And we're going to do a stack method, and we're going to just work with one wreath, and then we're going to stack the 10-inch on top of it. I'll give you the links for all these materials. This is a twist ball. This is what's called a 50-millimeter ball, and it's about 2 inches. I brought 3. I may need more than that, and I have more if I need it, but I don't have that number in front of me, okay? And then I'm going to be using, this is a mesh roller. This is not something that we sell on Trendy Tree, but it does make cutting your mesh much easier. And I'll give you a link for that. And then I'm also using a heat cutting tool. This particular one I think came from Walmart, and I'll try to get you a link on that. It's not something that we sell here at Trendy Tree. And this is a self-healing cutting mat. I can give you a link for that. It makes cutting your mesh so much easier, and it's got markings on it. But to use the heat cutting tool, you're going to need a glass board. This is a simple tempered glass cutting board from Walmart, okay? The first thing I'm going to do is cut my mesh. Now, we're going to start out with the emerald, and our work wreath. Of course, you could use an emerald green or an evergreen. Again, I just picked this out because we had plenty of them. It has 18 twists on it. So we're going to make 18 leaves out of the emerald green. Now, each roll of mesh ought to yield 36 cuts. So we're going to make our cuts 10 inches. It may not work out that way. We might be 35. We might have 37. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut up all the mesh because I'm going to use all 36 pieces, and we're going to put 2 petals in each twist. The red, we're going to do the same. We're going to cut 10-inch pieces, and we'll double up on those petals, and I haven't counted how many we need, okay? The first thing I'm going to do is cut my mesh. Well, I'll be the first one to admit when I make a mistake. I can't use the heat cutting tool on this fabric, on this mesh. This mesh has polyester thread, and the heat cutting tool does not work with that. It works great on poly burlap, which is all polypropylene, but this is polyester, so that didn't work. So I'm having to revert and just go back to my rotary cutter. Now, since I'm going to be cutting 10-inch pieces, I'm going to go ahead and put both of my rolls on the mesh roller, and I'm going to cut them both at the same time. That will just save me a little time. Okay, so we just regroup, and we're going to cut our pieces 10 inches. And that will cut through two pieces of mesh very easy. Now the first thing I do after I get my mesh cut is just go ahead and separate it into my pieces. Now you will need 36 pieces of the emerald green, and you'll need 24 pieces for sure of the red. You'll probably need 28 to 30, but you don't have to cut up all your pieces of red to start with. But we're going to start with the green, and we're going to start with a 24-inch pencil wreath. Now I'm going to move my camera in closer so you can see a little better. We're going to make our petal taking the piece of mesh, and we're going to let it flip over where it curls up naturally, and I'm going to take the corners and bring it to the center, and then I'm going to pinch it up, flip it over, and I'm going to start on the outer ring of the mesh and secure it. Now I'm just going to do that just real gently right there because I'm going to put 2 petals in each twist. So I'll make another one. Flip it over. And put both petals into that twist. Now this time I'm going to secure it tightly with 3 or 4 turns. And then I'm going to take the twist and tuck it to the inside of the wreath to get it out of the way. Okay? Take the mesh and kind of press it out to a V. You want those petals to kind of roll under, and you want them to kind of be in a V form. Now, they'll get closer together as I add in more petals. Now if you've got a chip clip or something, you can just stick that on there while you make your second petal. It'll save you from having to twist and untwist. And I'm just going to continue working all the way around the outer ring, and then I'll move to the inner ring. Now after you've gone all the way around the outer ring, you want to move to the inner ring and continue the same pattern. 2 petals in each twist, and tuck the ends of the twist to the inside. Okay, now I'm to my last twist on the inner ring, and I only have 1 piece of emerald fabric left, so I'm just going to make 1 single petal. It will not be noticeable. Sometimes you may come out just a little bit short. Of course, I may have counted wrong and that sort of thing, but that's okay. It will not show. So now we've gone all the way around our 24-inch wreath with the emerald green. Now next we're ready to stack our 10-inch wreath on top of this. Now I'm going to use 4 zip ties or cable ties to attach the 10-inch wreath to the 12. Now usually I use a red 10-inch wreath for this, but I just didn't have enough in stock, so I'm going to use the lime green, or this is fresh green. Now realistically, I think you could just position that wreath down there and use the twist from the 24-inch, but I'm not going to. I'm going to go ahead and kind of loosely attach a zip tie, and I'm going to attach it where, I'm trying to get where you can see it, where the bar is, so it won't slip and slide, but I'm not going to pull it tight. I'm just going to slide the zip tie through there and just kind of secure it because if I pull it tight, it'll get uneven. I want it to stay, you know, in the center of the wreath. So I'm just going to get my zip tie started. I'm going to go straight across and put one on the other side. Snug it up a little bit. Just kind of divide those zip ties out equally. And then kind of tighten them up a little at a time. Okay, so you want it nice and secure, okay? And then you snip off your ends of your zip ties with wire cutters. Okay, now we're ready to do our red petals. We're going to make our red petals just like the other ones. I've lost my clip. Just take the square, pull a corner to the center, 2 corners to the center, scrunch it up, flip it over. I'm going to put a clip on that one. Okay, and we're going to take our stems from the leftover petals and just tuck them to the inside to get them out of the way. Okay, now I'm going to stop right here before I go any further because I want to make a crossbar across the center, because after I get 2 petals in each one of the twists, I may still need to add in a few more petals to take care of some space, and I'll also need a place to attach my pencil ball ties. So I'm going to take a chenille stem and I'm going to make a crossbar across the center of that wreath. So I'm going to start around one of the posts and just attach that. And then attach it straight across on the other side. I want it pretty snug. Just secure those ends and get them out of the way. All right, I'm going to take another one and go right on to the straight post from the side. I'm going to kind of wrap it around that center and then come on over to the other side. Get it pretty snug. Oops. And then I'll have something to attach to if I need to put in any extra petals. Plus I have something to attach my ball ties to, okay? So let's go back and finish going around the wreath, making our petals. Okay, I've gone all the way around the inner ring now with my petals, and I've tucked the stems to the inside, but I still need to fill in some gaps. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to put 2 single petals in each space. So that's like 10 petals. Now I'm going to have to make those because there's not a twist to attach them to. So you make them in the same fashion. Make the petal, gather it up, flip it over. But this time, I'm going to take a half of a chenille stem and go right across the top of that and bring it around to the back. Give it a good twist. We're just kind of making a peg, okay? And then I'm going to put 2 picks in between each twist. So I'm going to take the chenille stem and drop it down over the wire, and I'm going to reach from the underneath side and secure it. Push those petals to the outside, so I'm going to put one more right there. These will just be singles. Take the chenille stem, go right across the top, bring it to the bottom, give it a twist, put it right over, push your petals out to make your V, and then put it right over the ring, reach under the underneath side and secure it. Now these will slip and slide a little bit, but once you get everything done, it won't show, okay? So I'm going to put 2 petals in between each twist going around, so that's 10 extra petals. Okay, now after I've added in the extra 2 pieces for an extra 10 petals here, I still have too big of an opening in the center. Now I only have 2 pieces of mesh left, so what I'm going to do, I still need to fill in that center a little bit more, and I need like a petal on each one of these chenille stems. I'm going to, since I have 2 pieces of mesh, I'm going to go back here under one of my petals, and I'm just going to take one out. See, that's what happens sometimes when you make something. It doesn't always turn out like you had anticipated. So I'm going to take a petal out on that side. And like I say, it's not going to show. And I'll take a petal out on this other side, I guess, just to keep it even. And then I'll have 4 single petals, and I'll put 1 on each of the chenille stems. And that's going to close up that opening a little bit more, okay? So I need the chenille stem, okay? And I'm going to go a little bit close to the center, and it's going to go right on that chenille stem. I think I had my petal positioned in the wrong way. There you go. See, that's what happens. I have to take things apart too, y'all. Okay, let's get my chenille stem across the top of the petal. And then go over the chenille stem, twist it. Okay. Push those petals to the outside. Okay. Well. Okay. Maybe I can show you this one a little easier. Okay, I'm going to put it over the next chenille stem. Just filling in that center a little more. my crossbar, my chenille stem with the crossbar, or the crossbar made out of the chenille stem is what I should say. Okay. Okay, this time we'll be using up every bit of the mesh on this. Just reaching under that underneath side to twist that around that chenille stem. Okay, and I've got one more piece that fell off in the floor. Okay. Okay, and I'm putting that on my last piece of the chenille stem. And we're just filling up that center a little more because we need it kind of full before we start putting our gold balls in there. Okay? Now then, I'm going to flip this over so you can see it from the back. It's not real pretty from the back, but you know, most of the time that is not going to show. But you can always, if you wanted to, you know, twist any of these ties together, you know, just to kind of make them lay down a little more, you can. I'm not going to fool with that right now. So now we're ready. So now we have made our center smaller. Okay? So we're ready for our gold balls. Now you will have some rattling of your mesh, and we'll clip strings when we get through, but just kind of, you don't want to open up that center too much, but that's where we're going to bring our gold balls up through. So we're going to take our pencil tie ball, and we're just going to bring it up through that center, around that crossbar. Just going to kind of twist it together. Just leave it like that. Of course, you don't want to twist it by the balls. Excuse me. Take another ball tie, go under the wreath, and come up in the other space around our crossbar there. And bring that up and just kind of twist it together. Just kind of loosely. And we're going to take a third one. We're going to come back up through that center again. And I think maybe one more. I think maybe 4 ball ties will be enough. Bring that up through the center. Bring one ball up and then bring it through on the opposite side. And then just kind of twist it together. Now, what we're going to do is just kind of twist the balls together. Don't want to just do it really, really very gently. You just kind of, you want them snug enough that they are covering up the center, but you don't want them so tight that you're liable to pull them loose. Okay? And you may need to hang it up on the wall to kind of see if you've got your balls all tight enough, or hang it up on your door rather. Okay. Okay, you may need to put it on your wall or door to kind of, you know, finish up. Just kind of reposition your petals if you have any gaps anywhere, and just reposition your balls so they kind of get rounded up in the center. Now you will want to clip your strings And you want to clip those. You don't want to pull strings. It helps. It's the unraveling if you'll just clip them instead of pulling them. So you'll have some strings to clip. So do that. And if you have a place that you just can't get covered up, you know, pull a petal over and put a little bit of hot glue on it. That will work. I didn't have to use any here. But any of your petals that are kind of gotten twisted, kind of curl them back. Okay. Of course, you can make a hanger for your wreath using a couple of chenille stems. I've still got a few more strings there to cut. But you can make a hanger for the back of your wreath using some chenille stems or zip ties. Okay? And that's it. It's really an inexpensive wreath to make. And if the ball ties are not something that you like to work with, we have a flower center that you can hot glue in. But this was an easy wreath to make. I didn't keep up with how long it took me to make it, but all the supplies came from Trendy Tree. And like I say, we have a certain number of kits that contain all the supplies that you need, but we'll leave, even after the kits have sold out, we'll leave the instructions up because you can follow the same pattern and pick out different colors of mesh, different styles of mesh. It works okay by using just plain Deco Poly mesh. You don't get quite as good a coverage with plain mesh as you do with the mesh, fabric mesh, or the mesh that has polyester in it, like this is a faux burlap. But you can make it out of metallic mesh too, okay? Let me see how big it is. It's about, let's see. Well, where's my tape measure? It's about 26 inches in width. So it'll make it's a good, oops, camera. It'll make a good door-sized wreath, okay? Thanks for watching. Hope that you'll visit Trendy Tree. And we have a new club, a new Facebook group called the Trendy Tree Wreath Club. If you're interested in making wreaths, floral design, or just seasonal decorations, drop by Facebook and ask to join. We would be glad to have you. And we hope you visit our website, trendytree.com. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.